Welcome, my friends, to Shaking the Salt with Dr. Peppers. My bio reads from troubled teen to teacher of the year, 100-pound weight loss, blah, blah, blah. You know, the sort of thing you're working on in your before and after life story. But each podcast is about 5 to 7 minutes long, and I share topics that most people find they need, including me. God's changed me so drastically, and He wants to do the same for you. So at the end of the message, stay tuned if you want to contact me for any reason, including prayers. Thank you, and I'm Dr. Peppers, Shaking the Salt. Here we go. Hi, my friends. This is Dr. Peppers, Shaking the Salt. Thank you for tuning into my podcast today. You know, if you're having a great day, God bless you. But if you're not, if you're feeling a little down or a little anxious, or maybe you're lonely and feel like nobody cares, maybe you have something going on physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, whatever it is, I'm here today to just give you some motivation, some inspiration to let God shine a little light on you. It's your turn to receive some of the good things that God has planned for you, and all I'm going to do is just be a vessel. So listen in for the next few minutes while I share some joy for your journey, and I'll remind you that for 20 years I hosted the radio and TV programs where my tagline was Shaking the Salt with Dr. Peppers. And yes, it's my real name. I married Bud Peppers, and my PhD is communication. So we're told that we're to be the salt and light of the earth, and I'm ready to shake a little salt on you today and season you with God's light. The front of my books and my personal bio on my website all sound so good. Professional speaker, consultant, radio and television host, author of over 20 books and publications, teacher of the year, 30-year educator, helped to found an alternative school for troubled teenagers, and National Teachers Hall of Fame, one of 5 inducted upon my retirement. But in the little tracts that I hand out and on the back of my book, I always share the truth. I was a former high school dropout. I had 100-pound weight loss, and I've been depressed. I've been through anxiety. I've gone through issues that a lot of you are going through. I've had an eating problem all of my life, having had to lose 100 pounds. It was one of those that I knew I couldn't do on my own. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I came to Christ, because this is the main thing that I believe saved me, has saved many of my friends, and will save you from yourself, from sin, and from Satan. So, as I said, I am an author. I'm a retired high school teacher, university instructor, radio, television, and my husband and I have recently moved to Florida, where we have also found a new life and ability to do a lot of things. But I wanted to include in my podcast why I am doing this, and the reason is for you. I want others to experience the fullness of life, the joy of life, not to have to be trapped in self-doubt and fear and condemnation and shame and guilt. And that's exactly what the enemy would love for us to do. But I'm going to say that we all have hopes and dreams. We want to be loved, and we all have our personal stories. Some of us have gone through them. Some of us are going through them. And if you have not either of those, you probably will have some stories and life lessons that you will face in your future. I came from a good middle-class family and grew up in a small rural town. If you've ever been through Missouri and Kansas, you know there's a lot of farm fields and just a lot of corn, and you see all of the wheat, and you see God's grace and energy and beauty there, but you also are a human being. So I have a great testimony because my older sister is my hero, my sister Donna, who is my best friend and always will be. She was my idol in school. She was 4 years older, so I looked up to her, and she always took care of me. She always wanted to help me with everything, and she was just beautiful and talented and valedictorian. She hates when I say this, but she was prom queen and head cheerleader and size maybe 6 or 8, but I couldn't live up to the expectations that I thought were placed on me. I wanted to be like Donna, but I couldn't. My mom and dad were middle class, good people that raised us in a nice, safe environment. But I just didn't like me. I didn't like what I was becoming. I didn't like that people called me fatso and lard butt and all other things. And so I just began drinking and smoking and hanging out with the wrong crowd, as many teenagers do today. But back in the 60s in little Clarksville, Missouri, I was one of the few that really did things like run away and stay away and live with people you don't know and even go to jail. Well, my parents were afraid, and they tried everything they knew to help me, and they took me to counselors and psychiatrists down in St. Louis, but nothing seemed to help. Finally, one day when I ran out of money and ran out of people and ran out of hope, I came home and said, all right, I'll go back to school. And they said, if you will just finish high school, if you will just get that graduation degree, then you'll have hope to be something in the future. And so that's what I did. And when I entered the school that day, I had a teacher who I had been in several of her classes, and I admired her. She was older, she had gray hair, but she told me God had great plans for my life. And I began watching her to see if she was real. Her name was Miss Alma Sitten. She let us call her Miss Alma. And I found out later when I was speaking in El Salvador that the name Alma in Spanish means soul. S-O-U-L, soul. And Miss Alma that day touched my soul. I eventually graduated from high school. I went on to college, became a teacher, and when I realized all of the wrong that I was doing in an attempt to fill an empty place in my soul, I cried out and I said, God, if you're really real, do something with this miserable life. And my friend, that's what I would like for you to do right now. If you've never cried out to God, test him. He says to. Ask, God, are you really real? Because if you are, take this life of mine and do with it what you want. He promises in Jeremiah 29:11, he has a plan for us, a plan to prosper us, to give us a blessed hope and a future. And my friend, right now, if you will cry out to him, if you will admit that you have done wrong, that you've tried to solve things yourself, perhaps. If you can believe that God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, Jesus Christ. If you will step out in faith and believe that today and speak it out loud, tell someone else. Find a good home church. Find the places in the Bible that are uplifting. Start with the New Testament, the book of John. Find out about the life of Jesus and take it for your own. And my friend, I challenge you. Watch what happens. I guarantee one thing, you will never be the same. Thanks for staying on, my friend. If you would like to contact me, visit saltandlightministry.com. If you want to share your story with me, ask a question, have me come speak to your group, or maybe just request prayer. Once again, saltandlightministry.com. Thanks and God bless.